It is time. It is time for Noonday Experience. Welcome. Welcome to this Wednesday in August. It's so great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us from wherever you are in the world. This is our Noonday Inspiration here at the Universal Center of Truth for Better Living, using our signature publication, the Daily Inspiration for Better Living, which is a publication of our parent organization, the Universal Foundation for Better Living, with headquarters in Miami Gardens, Florida. I'm so happy to see all of you. I'm giving those who are joining us a time to join online. There's so much that we know you could be doing, and you're here with us, and so we're grateful. Thank you all so much for all that you continue to do. Hi, Reverend Phyllis, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining. Those of you who are joining, today we're talking about who we are as conquerors and not as victims. And so it is great that you're joining us. You know, there's a chorus that we sing, I'm God's creation. I'm one with God. It says old things are passed away and I'm born again, born again. More than a conqueror, that's who I am. I'm God's creation and I'm one with God. That chorus kind of sums up our lesson for today. Who we are in God as courageous conquerors. I'm God's creation.
I'm God's creation. I'm one with God. All things will pass away. All things are passed away. I'm born again. More than a conqueror. More than a conqueror. That's who I am. I'm God's creation. I'm God's creation. I'm one with God. I'm God's creation. I'm one with God. I'm one with God. All things are passed away. All things are passed away. I'm born again. More than a conqueror. That's who I am. I'm God's creation. I'm God's creation. I'm one with God. I'm God's creation. I'm one with God. All things are passed away. I'm born again. More than a conqueror. That's who I am. Oh yes, I'm God's creation. I'm one with God. I'm God's creation. I'm with God. I'm one with God. All things are passed away. All things are passed away. I'm born again. I'm born again. More than a conqueror. That's who I am. That's who I am. I'm God's creation. I'm God's creation. I'm one with God. I'm God's creation. I'm one with God. I'm God's creation.
I'm one with God.
I'm one with
So, it is such a beautiful, powerful way to start off this Noonday Experience in the month of August. The month of August is a special month for us here in Kingston, Jamaica, and in Jamaica general, because for the first week in this month we celebrate our emancipation. And you know, emancipation as we know it first begins in our mind, emancipating ourselves from all those things and those thoughts and beliefs that we have had that has held us bondage. Remember, no one can keep you in bondage except you keep yourself there in your mind. Yeah? And then we follow on to our independence. When we celebrate our independence as a nation, And independence is about freedom. It's about that ability to take responsibility and to chart your own way forward on your own terms, standing like our founder would say, on your own two big spiritual feet. And so Jamaica this year is celebrating its 59th year of independence, standing on our own spiritual feet as a nation. And so in this month, when we celebrate our faculty of will, represented below the hairline by the disciple Matthew with the color gray, you know, will is the capacity to surrender. Will is the capacity to be able to follow the guidance and the whisperings of where God is leading, as opposed to taking things in your own hands. You know, when things not working out, you say, okay, I'm just going to have to deal with this. Will is that ability to surrender and to follow the will of God. And we know and we teach that God's will for each and every one is good. And it is to live a happy, healthy, and prosperous life now. Our writer today, Reverend Charles, out of Miami Gardens, Florida, has a title, "You Are Not a Victim." I am not a victim. Type that into the chat. I am not a victim. And when I read this thing, it knocked me down. Let me tell you why. Because oftentimes we think of victims as not so much ourselves. We don't necessarily think of ourselves so much in the victim sense. We think of persons who have been abused or mistreated in some way. But I became conscious in preparing for this experience that there are many ways in which I demonstrate a victim mentality. Every single time I start to complain about my gardener or my house assistant or the people at the office or what this person did or what that person does or how this person mistreated me or this person that, I am tapping into a victim mentality. What was your last complaint? What was your last complaint? And so I've been catching myself to say, Conroy, do not allow yourself to go into this victim mentality, because once you open the door of victimhood where somebody can do something to you that causes you to be or feel powerless, then you have opened the door for everything that comes with that. People are going to do and say whatever they do and say. You have no control over that. No matter how powerful or rich you are, people have a mouth, they will talk. They're free to do that. Your responsibility is how whatever it is that they say is interpreted by you and how it lands in your world. And that is the power of not choosing to be a victim. Reverend Charles says the world does not owe us. Hey? The world does not owe us anything. It does not owe us a living, a job, happiness, or anything. We only have what we ourselves choose and do. To think that we deserve to be given something much better than what we have now is to play the role of victim. Let me say it again. To think that we deserve to be given something much better than what we have right now is to play the role of victim. To think that we deserve to be given, and given is in quotation. Because remember, whatever you have or don't have, you have or don't have by right of your consciousness, by right of your level of awareness, by right of what you believe, by right of what your dominant thoughts are, by right of what your dominant feelings are. So, to think that you deserve to be given something, in interacting with young people these days, a lot of them have this mentality that I must be given this thing, right? That is fine, but you must be given it by right of your consciousness. Anything you do not earn by right of your consciousness, by right of what you believe, by right of what you dominantly think and feel, cannot stay with you. So even the lotto now, the super lotto now in Jamaica is 300 and something million. And I hear some of my friends saying, yes man, I want to win the super lotto. And remember, nothing in life is free. Yeah, it's not going to be given to you. You have to earn it by right of your consciousness. And so, Reverend Charles says, this attitude that something must be given creates futility and begs sympathy from others. We always get what we want. Always, always get what we want. Now, some of us fool ourselves and try to fool others into believing that we want something. But the things we really want, we get. There's a saying that says, we find reasons to do the things we really want to do, and we find excuses to not do the things we don't really want to do. So anything that you don't really do is not because, Lord, I never had the time, or Lord, it was too expensive, or it was too that. It was because on a deeper level, you really did not want to do it. And the moment we can get to that place where we can be honest enough with ourselves to say, this is what it is, I just didn't want to do it at that point in time, we are farther ahead in life. Mind is ever bringing into our lives what we ask for, and we are asking for all that we have by where we focus our attention. That is the key point in this entire victim process. Mind is ever bringing into our lives what we ask for. And we are asking for things based on where we focus our attention. So ask is not the things that we are saying out of our mouth that say, yes, can I please have an increase? Can I please have a this? Can I please have a that? We are asking with our dominant thoughts. So those things that you think that people are not seeing or hearing because you're not saying them, that's what you're asking. So we can know what you're asking. You can know what I am asking by what is showing up in my life predominantly. So if what is showing up in your life is not what you want, it means that you are asking for things in your thoughts that are not in alignment with what you are saying you're wanting. What are you asking for? If health is not showing up in your body, in your purse or your wallet, as abundance of money, it means that there is some dominant thought that you are entertaining that is bringing to you that which you're asking. So if you're wanting to experience health, start to entertain more healthy thoughts about yourself and about others. There's no point in thinking that, hey, I'm going to think healthy thoughts about myself, but I can't stand she, or I can't stand him, or I can't stand it. That's unhealthy. And so, by right of what you're dominantly thinking, you're attracting that. Same thing with money. Money doesn't love misery. So if you're miserable, and I know some miserable people, if you're miserable, primarily, you cannot be a keeper or an attractor of happiness and love and wealth and health. Because for you to be miserable, for you to stay in that state of misery, which is a feeling, feelings come out of your thoughts. So it means that there is some thought that would have been triggering some feeling of misery for it to demonstrate in your actions and in your reactions. So go back to the beginning. You have to take charge of what is going on in your mind, because mind is ever bringing into our lives what we ask for, and we are asking for all that we have by where we focus our attention. Or talking about being a victim indicates that this is what we want, otherwise we would not be talking about it. We wouldn't be talking about it. So, ask yourself, is there somewhere that I'm feeling sorry for myself? I'm feeling sorry for myself. You know, some people get sick. Some people get sick consciously and subconsciously, unconsciously, for attention. Because in that state of sickness, more people call them, more people visit them, more people provide for them in some kind of way. So sometimes you have to ask yourself, when you're in this state of ill health in any way, what is really going on? Where is my thought pattern? Where is my thinking? And then begin to correct that. And it naturally, as you correct the thinking, it corrects your feeling, it corrects your action, it corrects your reaction, and it corrects what is experienced in your life, world, and affairs. This thing is not hairy-fairy, it's not willy-nilly. This truth that we teach, that we study, is something that is systematic. It's not something we get up and make up one morning and say, oh, we just get up this morning and we just... No, it is something deliberate. It is something deliberate. There's a deliberate formula. And that is why our founder says it works if you work it. If you know the formula and work it, it works. This is why we can say, I am not a victim. Why am I not a victim? Because I'm special? Yes, I'm special, but everybody else is also special. I'm not a victim because I was born to the right family or in the right society. Everybody is born to a special family. Every family is special and nice, regardless of how that shows up. Yeah, I'm not a victim because I'm Jamaican and we win all the Olympic races, 100 and 200 meters. No, other people have, other countries, other persons have won these races. We're happy, we're grateful, but there's nothing that is more special than we are, than that nobody else is. No, that's not the truth that we teach. But because we believe and know that we can express that in a real way, we can stand tall. We can stand tall all the time and not be victims, because God has given us all we will ever need to live happy, healthy, and successful lives. It is vital to our role to stop playing this victim mentality, because it gets in the way, the writer says, of our own creative good. Choose to be a winner. Choose to succeed in all you do. And that's what I decided. I used to tell this story of workmen. If you have ever dealt with workmen in Jamaica, and I don't know anywhere else in the world, I can only speak of Jamaica. There used to be a belief that workmen are just pure trouble. We in Jamaica would say pure crosses. Yeah? And I'm guilty of entertaining that belief in different ways. And I just became conscious that in looking at this role of being a victim, the thoughts that I'm thinking about workmen, this belief that I'm entertaining, is drawing to me the crosses. Because if I believe that workmen are crosses, I bet you any money I'm going to draw a pair of crosses. And even if a workman comes to work with me and that workman was not crosses, he couldn't work for me, because my belief is that all workmen are crosses. And so I'm drawing to me what I believe. That is victim. That's a victim mentality. That's a victim mentality. So I'm choosing today, as this song says, to stand tall. I'm choosing today, and I'm inviting you to stand tall. And not be on your knees, begging, craving for anything. That was never how God intended for you to be. Nothing. You need to beg for nothing. Stand tall. Stand tall. Stand tall.
Life is like a big merry-go-round. You're up and then down, going in circles, trying to get to where you are. Everybody's been counting you out, but where are they now? Sitting in the same old place, just faces in the crowd. We all make mistakes. You might fall on your face, but you gotta get up. I'd rather stand tall
than live on my knees.
Than live on my knees.
'Cause I am a conqueror.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I won't accept defeat.
Try telling me
no.
One thing
about me.
I am a conqueror.
Yes, I am a conqueror.
Yes, I am. Yes, I
am a conqueror.
Oh,
Remember, there's a war out there, so come prepared to fight. You never know where the road will lead you. Not everyone's gonna believe you. And even when they're wrong, don't prove them right, yeah. I'd rather stand tall than live on my knees. 'Cause I am a conqueror. I am a conqueror. And I won't accept defeat. And I won't accept defeat. Try telling me no. Try telling me no. One thing about me. One fun thing about me
is I am a conqueror.
I am a conqueror.
I am a conqueror.
I'd rather stand tall than live on my knees.
Live on my knees.
'Cause I am a conqueror.
You are a conqueror.
And I won't accept defeat.
More than a conqueror.
Try telling me no.
Try telling me no.
One thing about me
One thing about me
is I am a conqueror.
I am a conqueror. You
I am
are
a conqueror.
We are conquerors.
You know, such a beautiful song. In every single moment, everything that happens, we are choosing who we are being. That's one of the things that we're big on. That's one of the things that we talk a lot about in the book that we wrote, Michael Hoggett and I, called Your Empowerment GPA. Because in every moment we're making decisions. Even in this moment that you're here now online with me, you made a decision to join this Noonday Inspiration. That was a decision. You didn't have to. You could have gotten a notification and you could have moved on to something else. Even after you started listening and you heard the thing, you could have clicked off and gone on somewhere else. It is a decision to stay. So the question becomes, what decisions are you making in every moment? How are you choosing to uplift yourself? How are you choosing to stand in those moments, to stand tall in those moments when things maybe don't seem the way that they should be? Things happen. Things are always happening. Trust me, things are happening every single day. Even in this moment, as I'm talking to you, I had a leak at my house and I asked the plumber to come, and he promised me faithfully he's coming at 8:30 this morning, and 8:30 don't reach yet. Now, the question becomes, who is Conroy going to choose to be in the moment? Am I still going to remember that I'm never a victim? Am I still going to remember that? Or am I going to say, Lord have mercy every time, and why this happening to me? And why am I always this? And why am I always that? And guess what? Because I start asking those disempowering questions, the answers come right away. Yes, you're always this and that because you're this. Because in 1926 you did this and that, and you'll find all the supportive evidence to support this thesis that you've started about why you're a victim. You'll find it is there. So I have to catch myself in every moment and realize that I am responsible for the thoughts I think and what I entertain. The Apostle Paul tells us that we're more than conquerors. We're more than conquerors. Which means that whatever shows up on our screen of life, we can move past it. Because, why can we move past it? Anybody can tell me, why can we move past it and we are not victims? God made no victims. None of us. Regardless of what experiences that we have had. Now, does this mean that people who experience things, people who are treated wrongfully, are not supposed to do anything and that they're supposed to be treated that way? No, I'm not saying that. Does it mean that we don't take the necessary steps legally to correct situations where things don't happen according to law? or where we are personally violated, no, we need to go ahead and do that because we're conquerors. We stand in our strength as spiritual beings and we are not violated in any way. Nor should we be violated. But it is the thought associated with any kind of behavior, anything that anybody does to us that causes us to be victims. So now, a big talk now is about reparations and about what has happened to us over the hundreds of years of being enslaved, etc., etc., etc. Right? And even as some countries are asking for reparations from those who may have held us as slaves, remember, you can only be a slave in your mind. So even Nelson Mandela told us that and showed us that when he was locked up in prison. He was locked up in prison, but he was preparing to be the president. So in a physical space, it may seem that he was incarcerated, but mentally he was never, ever there. Or else he could not have come out of those lockups and stepped into the presidential role that he did. In the same way, what situations do you need to step out of into your presidential status? What situations are you now in that you need to shift how you start to think and begin to see that I am more than a conqueror? That I am a child of God, endowed with infinite possibilities, moving through and doing what God has to do in, through, and as me. Romans 8:31 tells us, if God is for us, who can be against us? When are you going to step into that? And that's why Yolanda Adams tells us, I'm going to be ready. You have to be ready. You have to be ready for whatever comes because you're prepared for it. You're more than conquerors. I am not a victim. I am not a victim. I am not a victim. You should be saying that over and over again. Whenever anybody comes to you with anything, I am not a victim. I've never been a victim. I'll never be a victim. I'm going to be ready.
I say a prayer every night. Whatever I do, I'll get it right. Move ahead in faith, impatiently wait your answer. Oh,
once I surrender, I won't dare look back.
I won't dare look back.
Because if I look back, I'm going to get off track.
'Cause if I do, I'll get off track.
Yes.
I move ahead.
Move ahead in faith and patiently await the answer.
Your answer.
I'm never a
What
victim.
will
Come on,
it
sight
be?
beyond what I see.
Sight beyond what I see.
Oh God.
You know what's best.
You know what's best for me.
For me.
Prepare my mind.
Prepare my mind.
Prepare my
Prepare
heart.
my heart
For
whatever comes.
I know I'm
I'm
gonna be ready.
ready.
Strength to pass
Strength to pass any
I
test.
know that I am
I
so
feel
blessed.
like I'm so
Because you, God, are in
blessed.
control.
You in control.
And I can't go wrong.
I can't go wrong. 'Cause I always know
I'm gonna be ready.
I'm gonna
Be ready.
be ready.
Yes.
Oh.
I was free to do.
I was free to do what I wanted to. Lost everything, but I still had you. You showed me a grace.
All my life.
Patiently wait your answer. Yes, I thank you.
Oh, and I'm telling you.
So I'll tell anyone who listens, I'll testify about how good you are to me. When so-called friends pass me by, the fact that you would throw somebody so broke down. So much mercy. Sign beyond what I see.
I can't go wrong because I always know I am ready. I'm never a victim. Oh, I'm ready. I'm going to be ready. Type that into the chat. I'm going to be ready. I'm not a victim. I'm ready. God is in control. God is in control. I'm ready. I'm going to be ready. That should be your acclamation. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready. I'm never a victim. God is in control. I'm going to be ready. Come on. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready. Yes. 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 If you could just remember that today, that God is always in control, despite whatever is showing up on your life, world, and fears. Whatever is showing up on those screens, God is in control. Don't be fooled. And because God is in control, you are never a victim. I am never a victim. God is in control. God lives inside of me. And if God is for me, nothing or no one can be against me. Despite what they do, what they say, what they think they do or say, everything is always working together for the highest good of all concerned. As you go through the rest of your day and the rest of this week, know that you live, move, and have your being in the presence and power of God that is right where you are, whatever situation you may face. And so you are never a victim. Now share this with someone. Share this with a friend. Someone who you know who may be dealing with something. Someone who you know who's probably always calling you and telling you all the things that somebody else is doing to them. Share this with your children who you know who have to deal, who on a daily basis they deal with various things that come across your screen of life. Share it with somebody so that we all can be reminded of who we are as children of God and that we are never, ever victims because we are made in the image and after the likeness of God. And in God there is power. And so Holy Spirit, as we go forth today, we say thank you. Thank you for this awareness that we are expressions, divine expressions of God. And as divine expressions of God, we can never be victims to anyone. So we won't give up. When situations come, we never give up. We never give in because we've come too far. We move forward, trusting and knowing that God goes ahead of us. That the light of God surrounds us and the love of God is enfolding us and the power of God is protecting us and the presence of God is watching over us so that wherever we are, 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 wherever you are, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well. I'm not giving up. I'm not a victim.
I just can't give up now. Come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe He's brought me this far to leave me. Oh, I can't. I just